Hi, I'm Adam Kunzmiller with BGG TV, and we're here at Gen Con 2015. I'm joined by Ryan Lockett with Red Raven Games, and we are here to talk about Above and Below.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. It's a storytelling town building game. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So it sort of mixes elements of like Tales of the Arabian Nights and like a standard sort of Euro village building game. So
Okay.
yeah, so how does it work? Well, let me tell you the story. So your last village gets destroyed by barbarians, so you have to run away and you find this nice little place. You start building a new house, a new village. These are your villagers, and you've got this is your starting building.
Adobe starting hut or whatever.
Yep, that's right. And while you're doing this, somebody discovers nearby there's an underground labyrinth. And the labyrinth is full of, treasures and resources, and it's huge. It's got civilizations, weird creatures.
Cool.
And so you start exploring it and setting up outposts and stuff like that. So the way you play, you get to assign villagers to do different jobs. So when they're in this spot, that means they're rested, they're happy, they're ready to go. If they're over here, that means they worked all day, they're tired. And then if they ever get to this spot, then they are injured. And then it might take them a little while to get rested up, basically. So in the game, you can do a couple different things. You can send them to get money. These are the different actions. You can send them to teach. So you got to have somebody that's got the teaching skill, and you can get new villagers, and then they have a cost. And all these villagers are individual. They have different skills and abilities, and some are better at exploring and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
This one lets you build. You got to have somebody that's good at building. So we'll send that guy. And then when you build stuff, you can buy any of these buildings that are set up here, and you just have to pay the coin cost, and they give different abilities. Some give new more beds, so you'll see that you start with this
and
guy
that limits how
three
many
beds.
people I can have?
Yeah, you can have more, but I'll get to that in a minute, why
Sure.
beds are important. So let's see where we were. Oh yeah, and then you can, you also need to send guys to harvest. Some of these buildings, they make goods, so like this building, when you build it, it makes fish. So let's say I built it, so I'd put these tokens on it. To get those off of there, I have to send guys to go get it. So I could send like 2 people and to go harvest, yeah, yep. And then I can use those later. I'll tell you what you can do with them in a minute. So the last action, the thing that really kind of sets the game apart is exploring. So when you explore, you take one of these little cave cards and you put it down kind of by your player board. And then you have to send at least 2 people because it's too dangerous down there. You got to have a buddy if you're going down to the cave. So you can send 2. You can send more if you want. You can send all 3 of them. You'll roll a die, and that will tell you which paragraph to read.
Which page?
Yes, just like a sort of a adventure book.
Back to that Arabian Nights tie-in kind of feel.
Yep. So the player to your left will read it. I'm just going to read what we found here. So, it says, you come upon a massive underground waterfall. The water roars over the rocks, disappearing into a great, dark chasm below. Glancing down, you suddenly notice 2 dim eyes staring back at you. Within moments, a giant blue lizard head emerges from the cavern on a long neck. A strong, sour fish smell fills the air. I was growing tired of eating fish, says the lizard, grinning hungrily at your party. Do you fight the monster or hide from it? So now I'll give you 2 choices. So you can hide for 2 or 4, or you can fight the lizard for 7. Okay, so that number is how hard it is.
How hard it is?
Yeah, and that's how many lanterns your guys have to roll.
Gotcha.
So how does that work? Go ahead and roll for each villager. But you got to say which villager you're rolling for.
All right, so I'm going to hide for 4.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So now I'm rolling for her?
Yep.
And now I roll 1 die?
Yep.
Okay. So I got a 3?
Yep. So you put the 3 on there, and so you got 2 or higher. That's enough. You got 1 lantern. Now you roll for the next guy.
And the number is 4 the number of lanterns I need?
No. Yes. 4 is the number of lanterns.
Ooh, let's say I'm going to hide for 2 then.
Okay.
Since I only have 3 people.
All right.
And so this one's going to be a harder lantern to get because it's got a higher number.
Yeah, because he's not quite as good as the other guys.
Nailed it.
He's good
All
at
right,
building.
so I have successfully hidden at this point, right?
Yes, that's right.
Since we retconned my 4 to a 2.
So you ran away and hid. So the thing is, let's say let's say that you were trying to go for the 4,
Okay.
but you didn't roll enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can injure your villagers to get extra lanterns.
Interesting.
So you could send this guy over to the injury. So they like exerted themselves, you know, trying to complete and get enough. So there's sort of a luck mitigation thing.
Gotcha.
So now you have enough lanterns, and you'll get a reward. And so I'll tell you, you hid from the fish, and while you were hiding, you found a mushroom, and you got 3 coins, or whatever. That's your reward.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I know with Arabian Nights, it often feels like whatever you choose really has no bearing on what outcome you're going to get. You know,
Yeah.
like, oh, priest, I'm going to pray, and then you're smitten down and end up in prison or something.
Right.
How's that compare here?
So that is the fun part of that game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of the unexpected. Oh my gosh, it's going to be crazy. So this one's a little more. You can kind of know. Basically, the harder it is, the bigger the reward.
The bigger the reward,
Yeah.
right?
And you'll never really get punished. I mean, there's some. So this is a reputation track, and like you might run into somebody where they're like, this person's sick and he needs help, and do you help him or do you kick him and grab his bag and run?
Right.
You know. And if you did that, your reputation might
okay.
decrease, but you would get like goods
Get
from his
something
bag.
for it, right.
Yeah. So you always kind of get to make that choice. Yeah.
Okay.
So, one cool thing about exploring is you also get to keep that cave card, and you need it in order to build these underground buildings.
It's like a location for the building to go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are a couple other things with the game. Yeah, these are gold cards, and they're expensive, but they give you points for different things, and these give you special abilities. But that's pretty much
So what
how it works.
What triggers the end of the game?
So it lasts 7 rounds, and so you have a little. I don't know where it is. It's a little round tracker, so you'll
Sure, and
go
just
down
count down
this.
as you go.
Yep, and then at the end, you count up points. Every building's worth a point, and some buildings have extra, like that's worth 2 more.
Cool.
And we're having a lot of fun with it. People are.
And what's the typical playtime on that?
90 minutes. Maybe your first game will be like if you're with 4 players, it might be 2 hours.
Sure. And number of players?
2 to 4.
4. Great. Well, that was Above and Below.
Thank you.